Alright guys, I'm going to show you how I set up my Thinkorswim Charting platform. So I'm in Thinkorswim. You have to open an account. You can fund your account to get a live account. If not, you can use the paper trading account. Okay. So what I do is, once I'm in the platform, I go to Charts over here and click on Charts here. Oops, yeah, Charts and Charts. Okay. So I click on Charts, you will get your charts. Okay. Now, I like to configure my charts in a certain way. I'll show you how I do it. So I go to this widget called Chart Settings. I click on that. And you can go to the different tabs to adapt your chart the way you like it, right? So I'm just going to show you what I do. So I'm going to click on General, okay? Now, I'm going to leave this as it is. I'm not going to change anything. Okay, snap join screen. Okay, now depending on your time zone, I'm in Singapore, so I'm choosing the Singapore time zone. Obviously, if you're in Australia or the US, you would change it to your respective time zones. All right. Data box, I prefer to leave it off, but you can turn it on as well if you want to. But I just like it to be off because I like to see the data, which is the open, high, low, and close price on the upper top of the chart, which I'll show you in a while. But if you like it to sit in a data box, you can choose floating or fixed, right? So I like to keep it off, right? If you want to see volume bars, you can click this. If you do not want volume bars, you can uncheck it. So you can check it to see the volume bars if you want. Okay. Next, price axis. I'll choose log scale. Okay. By default, I think it's already at log scale. Nothing else to change. Time axis. Now again, depends again on your strategy. Okay, so for my swing trading strategies, I would use daily candles. Right, look at daily candles, and you can look at the last 6 months, for example. Okay, but I'll show you that we can create many configurations in a short while. Right, expansion area. This I'll put 5 bars to the right. Right, so put 5 bars to the right. Auto expand to fit corporate actions. Yes, check that. Check studies, and these 3 things I would uncheck it. I don't like these things. Okay, but if you want, it's personal preference. I uncheck it. Quick time frames. Okay, good. Now over here you can put in the time frames that you like to go to quickly. All right, so you kind of like configure your time frames. And for me, I like to create these time frames. Okay, when I'm doing swing trading or medium-term investing, I use daily candles. So I like to configure 5-year daily candles, 3-year daily candles, 2-year daily candles, 1-year daily candles, and 6 months daily candles. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are my 5 preferred time frames that I go to. Okay, when I'm doing intraday scalping, I like to put in my 2-day 5-minute candles, 2-day 2-minute candles, 1-day 2-minute candles, and 2-day 1-minute candles. All right, so these are my favorite configurations. Now, so how do I get all this up here? Well, I just add a time frame. Okay, for example, if I wanted to add a 5-year daily time frame, I'll click on that, and again choose 5 years and daily time frame. I click add, and there we are. It's over there, which it already is in there. Okay, so if it wasn't there, it would be added in. Okay, now I could edit any of these things by clicking edit. All right, and I could edit it to, instead of 5 years, maybe I can change it to 10 years. Okay, daily time frame, and I add, and now it's become 10 years. Okay, so I do not want 10 years. I'm going to go back to 5 years, and there we are. Okay, so these are my time frames that I use frequently. Okay, for swing trading and for intraday scalping. Next, appearance. Okay, this is really up to your personal preference. Well, first of all, you have to choose candlesticks. We want to look at candlesticks as professional traders, investors. Show wicks, yes. fill down candles. Now, if you click on this, your bullish candles will be green, right? And that's fine, but I like my bullish candles to be white, so I uncheck that, and I check my bearish candles to be red. Okay, so that's my bullish candle, that's my bearish candle. Again, if you like green, you can click on green. It's really up to you. Okay, so I uncheck that. Cursor, I put a cross, so when I'm moving around the chart, the cross comes out, right? So I like the cross. What else? Yeah, that's about it. Next, equities. Again, if you want to look at volume, you can click on volume. All right. You want to show corporate actions like earnings that will appear. Show extended hours trading session. Now, this is only applicable if you're doing intraday scalping. All right. So if you're taking my online professional course level 2 or at Wealth Academy professional level, you would want to look at extended hours trading, or we call it pre-market trading, right? If not, then you just uncheck it, right? Great. Options, nope, you're not trading options. Futures, no. Forex, no. So that's all you need for chart settings, okay? All right, now let's take a look at some of the features that you need to know, okay? So when I move my cursor, I get this cross, okay? And I can click and zoom in, click, drag, and zoom into any portion of the chart. And I can go to this magnifying glass at the bottom, and I could zoom out just as easily, right? I could zoom in with this, I could zoom out with that, or I could click and zoom in to any portion of the chart. So when I point at any candle, right? Oops. Okay. So when I point at this candle, for example, now that's a bullish candle, okay? So when I point at this candle, straight away, if you look at this place up here, can you see this thing up here, right? Oops, hold on, yeah. So you can see O2380, that's the opening price. So immediately when I touch this candle, it tell me the opening price is 2380.13. The high is 2400.98. The low is 2380.13. The close is 2395.96. Okay, so OHLC is open, high, low, and close. Okay, R is range. So range tells me from the bottom of the candle to the top, it is $20.85 on the S&P 500. Okay. And the last one is Y. Y basically is the price where you're moving the cursor to. So notice as I'm moving the cursor up and down, it shows me the price at of where my cursor is. As you can see that. Now, let me use a stop. For example, if I go to Facebook, okay, I zoom in, okay. So for example, if I put my cursor here, it tells me that the price is at $154.10 at Y. Okay, this candle, which is you can see is a bearish pin bar, the range is $1.30, and the high is 154.71, open 153.64. Right, so that's how you read the candles. Okay, that's important because remember, when we place an order, we want to place our order, 3 or 5 cents above the high or the low of the candle. So by putting the pointer over there, we can see the high and the low immediately. Okay, great. So let me zoom out, and well, let me put another stock like Boeing, for example. Put in a clean stock. Okay, Caterpillar, great. Oops, hold on. So one of the first things that you want to do when you look at a chart is to obviously draw support and resistance levels that you spot. Okay, so to do that, you go to this over here. Oops, no, not that one. This one, drawings. Okay, so when you go to drawings, you click on drawings and go to drawing tools. There you go. You have all the tools over here. Okay, so this tool is a pointer. So when you click on this, it will simply just point to wherever you want to go. Okay. If you click on this is the horizontal support and resistance line. So if I click on that, I could draw a resistance over here. As you can see, there's clear resistance. Click, and you can move it around and exactly where you want it, adjust it, and click again. There you go. So that's your line. That is your resistance, 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 support, support level, right? You could draw another one over here. Okay, again, you can just adjust it to the exact level. There you go. Okay. Now you could erase it. You just have to point at it, right click, and remove drawing. There you go. Right click, remove drawing. Okay. You can also go to drawings, drawing tools, and you could select this trend line. Oh, sorry, this trend line. Yeah, this is a trend line. So this is used to draw trending support and resistance levels, right? So if you click on this, for example, I could click on that and draw a trending resistance, a support like that, for example. Okay. So connect this. Now again, this is not a trend line. Okay, I'm just demonstrating because remember, a trend line has to connect at least 3 points very, very obviously. So these are not really trend lines. I'm just showing you how I draw them. Okay, so I'm just going to remove the drawing. Okay, oops, hold on. There we go. Okay. So if other drawing tools, you can put a text note. You can also use Fibonacci, retracements, Fibonacci extensions. That will be a more advanced lesson, but you can use any of these over there. All right. All right. So looking at other features on the charts, if you look below, you see these icons, and these icons are corporate actions. All right. So what does it mean? For example, if you look at this green dollar sign, that's dividends. All right. So if you click on this, it tells you that the company paid a dividend of 77 cents. So if you held that stock on this day, you get 77 cents, all right? And 77 cents, every 3 months they'll pay a dividend, right? So on this day was that day. You click on this red line or this red icon, that is the earnings conference call, which is the day the company announces earnings. So on this day, the company announced an earnings of $1.28. And obviously, it was better than expected, and that's why the price gapped up from that earnings announcement, right? So usually when the company announces earnings, like over here, the price tends to either gap up or gap down on either good or bad news, right? Great. So the other thing that you do, let me just remove this, is to put in your indicators, right? So depending on the strategy you're using, right? So you learn many different strategies in the trading course, okay? So for example, classic strategy would be, for example, if I want to trade the BMR strategy, the Bollinger Mean Reversion, I would go to this icon, which brings up all the different strategies or studies or indicators, right? So for example, I could put in my moving averages. Simple moving average is over here. Where is that? There. Okay. So I'm going to double click on that, and for the simple moving average, I would go with the 50 moving average for that BMR strategy, Bollinger Mean Reversion, for example. So that will be blue, and there we go. Okay, then I could put in my 20 exponential moving average. So for exponential moving average, I would choose this one, exponential moving average. For simple moving average, it would be this one. Okay, so let me click on exponential, and I'm gonna put in a 20 EMA, for example. And for the exponential moving average, I choose red dotted line. There we go. Okay. I could also put in a 200-day moving average. Again, I go back to my simple moving average, double click on that, and I click this icon to edit to my preferred setting of 200, red. There you go. So I've got my 20 exponential moving average, 50 simple moving average, and 200 moving average. I could also put in other indicators like the MACD, right? Moving average, like MACD. Okay. So for the MACD, by default it's 12, 26, and 9. That's the setting I use, so I'm going to leave it over there. Okay. You could also put in things like Bollinger Bands, for example, you're using that in the strategy. Okay, so whatever strategy you're using, you can put in all the indicators using this icon over here. Okay, so once you put in your strategies for that strategy, you can click Save the study set as whatever you want to call it. So for example, this will be Bollinger mean reversion, for example. Okay, or capitulation, right? Whatever strategy you've learned, yeah? So click Save and okay. So there we have all the indicators are there, okay? If you want to call up this particular strategy, just go to Studies and Load Study. There we are, Bollinger Mean Reversion, what we put in, right? So every time you create a new set of strategies based on indicators, it would appear over here, right? Capitulation, BMR, day trend, market trend, WA classic, bounce, piranha, intraday scalping, whatever it is, right? So you could load any of these setups over here. For example, if you click on this, boom, you get the capitulation setup, right? If you click on this, you get the you get my intraday scalping setup. Okay. Great. So you can also remove the studies if you want to clear it. Yes. So there we go. All right. Now over here, you can see that on this icon, click on it. These are all the time frames that we have pre-chosen, right? These are customized favorite time frames. And again, if you want to change it again, you can click on Customize List. And again, you can edit any of them to suit time frames that you like. Okay. So again, these are the ones I use. I'm going to click OK. So every time I want to change my time frame, I go to D, and I could change it to 6 months daily. Could change it to 2-year daily. I could change it to 5 years, right? It's 5 years, right? If I'm doing an intraday scalping trade, I'll go to my 2 days, 1 minute candle. All right, so you can see that these candles that you see are 1 minute candles, right? This is an intraday chart, and over here, shaded in gray, this is the pre-market chart, right? So sometimes the pre-market charts will appear if there's pre-market trading, as you can see. Okay. Okay, great. Now the other thing that I can show you is to create a favorite kind of like hotkeys or hot buttons. Okay. So notice when I mouse over this, or I mouse near the blue bar, this pops out. Can you see this pops out, this one? Trend line, price line, pointer, capitulation, WA classic, day trend. Okay, these are my favorite hot buttons. Okay, so you could create your own favorite hot buttons by clicking on this icon over here, configure buttons, right? So click on that, and you could add a button, or you could remove a button. Okay, so my favorite buttons would be trend line. Okay, so how do I get this? Very simple. If you click add button, now I can't add anymore because I already have too many, right? So let me get rid of, for example, this one. So I click on it and I'm going to put delete button. There, it's gone. Okay, so if I want to add it in again, I would click add button, and I want to go to drawing tool, and trend line. Okay, so when I choose trend line, this becomes my favorite button. So it's kind of like my favorite menu. Okay, so your button could be a drawing tool. It could also be in a study set or an indicator set like capitulation, because I commonly use that strategy. For example, pointer as well. Right. So when you click done, again, whenever you mouse over, you get your favorite buttons, where straight away I can go to my pointer tool, I can draw a horizontal trend line, or the horizontal support and resistance line, I can draw a trend line, I can go to my capitulation studies. All right, so that's how you use that. All right, so now let me just show you some advanced tools that you can use on these charts, right? So on the right, you can see that the word chart is highlighted, so it shows you the chart. Okay. Now, besides the chart, you could also look at live news. So you click on this; it tells you what's the latest news on this stock. Okay. Now, if you're a swing trader, you're an investor, then this is not important. All right. This is only important when you're doing intraday scalping. So during my intraday scalping lessons, I would typically click on live news and look at the news that is causing the price action today. Okay. Let me just go to one of my studies. Okay. Level 2. Level 2 is something, again, we do for intraday scalping, where you can see, let me just bring it up over here. So level 2 basically means market depth. It shows you the bid and ask prices of the different buyers and sellers at different price levels, right? So for example, these are the sellers which are queuing up to sell. All right, so there's a seller over here who is asking to sell at 107.10, and he wants to sell 300 shares. Okay, and there's another seller over here. Oh, you can see this changes really fast, right? So now the seller is asking 107.14, 200 shares. So sellers are queuing up here, buyers are queuing up here, right? Buyers are offering to buy at 107.12, 400 shares is what they are going to buy at. So this is what we call level 2. We only use it in intraday trading. If you're doing swing trading or investing, then it's not applicable to you, but just to show you that all these things do exist, all right? Now, the other thing you can do is you can go to this icon, and you could click on 4 or 2 or whatever you want. For example, if I click on 4, straight away I get 4 charts. Okay, so I could look at Caterpillar over here, I could look at Boeing over here, and again, you have to choose C for charts. All right, and uncheck this charts. Okay, I could look at Apple over here. Again, click C for charts. And whatever, right? So this allows you to look at more than one chart at a time, right? So over here, and if you want, you can save this layout. If you like to see 4 charts at a time, you can click on this and you can save the grid. We call this a grid, as whatever you want to call it, right? So I've got these save settings over here, which I use, again, more for intraday scalping. For swing trading or investing, we typically look at 1 chart at a time. All right. Okay. So that concludes this lesson on the Thinkorswim Charting software. If you've got questions, do send me an email, and I'll do my best to help.